I'm Emily Andre, editor of Printwear magazine, reporting from the NBM show in Long Beach. And I'm sitting here with Mark Gervais from Ningbo Shenzhou Knitting Factory in China. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, all the way from China. Yeah. You brought some great samples for us, and you're going to tell us a little bit about the differences in printing and what you guys get to do in your shop in China.
Yeah, a lot of what we're doing nowadays is working with water-based inks, or what they call high solids acrylic water-based inks, and we do that for a few reasons. One is that the brands specify that we use a PVC-free or phthalate-free alternatives.
Okay.
And we find that with these water-based, high-solid acrylic water-based inks, they really give us the great results that we need in terms of opacity and softness of hands, but it comes with a price, and that's really learning how to work with water-based inks. There's the screen dry-in problems that you have to wrestle with, and of course there's the emulsion issues that you have to struggle with, but years ago when plastisols first came into the market, they were also a little bit awkward to work with. So,
good point.
Learning to work with the water-based inks is really something that you have to spend some time and learn.
So what are the differences, and what do you get out of all of that you put into learning the water-based systems?
Well, the first thing that you get is you get a tremendous soft hand feel. The other thing is that you have good fiber mat down. The water-based inks tend to lay the fibers down, where with plastisol inks you don't have that. The fibers tend to stay up through the ink film. But the water-based inks do a great job.
Some nice distress going on here. What's going on?
Yeah, well, here we've got just a single layer of what we call a semi-rubber ink, which is a combination of water-based and high solids acrylic to give you softness of hand, but also giving you some decent opacity. And of course, since it's old vintage effect, it's more distressed, so we don't need a pure white. So we just kind of do an off-white, so it gives us that.
Gorgeous garments too. That's a lucky substrate to print on.
Yeah, it's a nice piece of cotton we get to print with.
Okay, and these reds are so vibrant.
Yeah, again, this is
water-based.
Right. Again, giving you nice bright colors, giving you softness of hand. But you do need to understand more about your ink and engineering in terms of opacity and mesh counts and underbasing. So similar to plastisol printing, but yet not having the opacity that you have with a plastisol.
Okay.
So with these inks, you've got to work a little more with maybe layering or adding a second screen of that same color to get that color strength. So maybe a job in plastisol would print in 6 screens, but if we ran water-based, maybe that's going to be up a little bit higher, maybe 8 to 10 screens.
Wow, that's a lot of time in pre-press, huh?
Yeah.
Getting screens ready and that?
That's really the key, is to spend that time in pre-press and do your engineering and to figure out your ink sequence, the mesh counts, and how it all comes back together.
Okay. Well, you guys get to do some cool stuff that isn't quite available in the U.S. yet.
Right.
So we're looking a little bit about maybe what the future holds for
I think so.
US?
I mean, everyone's out there trying to find a good PVC-free, phthalate-free alternative, trying to go the ways of some of the plastisol ink manufacturers, looking for that new product that's going to really offer printers the advantages. But I think we're in an interesting position that since we work primarily with the water-based inks, we're able to achieve these results. But again, you need to spend your time and invest some energy. It's not real easy. I think what happens many times is people will start with this water-based ink. It becomes awkward or it becomes difficult. They don't have an initial success, so they kind of toss it off to the shelf and said, well, that didn't work, let's go back and try this other thing. Well,
sure.
You really need to understand that it's a learning curve. And if it was easy, everybody would be doing it and you wouldn't be unique. So those guys of you that want to invest in the time and learn about it, you're going to be ahead of the rest of the pack.
It's great advice.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
There's some other interesting effects. They have special effect inks too. You might want to zoom up on this one a little bit, but there's some interesting crack effects that we have on this particular shirt, where these inks tend to dry and crack like a mud as it's drying. So the crack effect is random. Each shirt, it's kind of unique because it's different than the second shirt or third shirt, but This is some specialty type ink stuff that we call it a self-cracking ink that gives you a random crack pattern. So it's giving you some texture. So if you want kind of an old vintage type of effect. So they do have some interesting special effect inks in the water-based category that they don't have in a plastisol type of a chemistry. So
Okay.
it's interesting.
Yeah,
It's interesting.
definitely. And the detail, I can't believe, we can see the spokes here in the wheel and just all of the detail on the bike. So
Yeah, and
that's-
even though water-based inks have a tendency to plug in your open
Right.
areas and with halftones, you just have to keep them moving. And if you do stop, the best advice I can give you is if you're going to stop, just take a quick amount of time, wipe out, clean out your screen, and don't have to worry about it drying in.
All right.
If you play around for a couple minutes while you're waiting, you're going to probably have a screen drying problem, and then it's going to lead to a bad experience. So
Sure.
if you're going to stop, quickly wet wash your screen with water. The best advice I have is 1, don't be afraid of the water. 2, wash your screens with water if you're going to stop, and it'll make your life a lot easier.
Great. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
And thanks for making the trip all the way out here to Long Beach.
That's my pleasure.
It's fun to see you, and thank you for watching.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
For more on-point conversations, go to printwearmag.com.